In today's show, he's a globe-trotting Tiger turned Crow. We catch up with leadership expert Daniel Jackson. We check in with a new crop of players taking charge at Westlakes. Plus 10-goal Tom. We look back on the day Lynch stood tall against the Giants. Hi everyone and welcome to the Optus Crows Show. I'm Mark Pickley. And happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there. I hope you're enjoying your special day. Well, Daniel Jackson's appointment as Leadership Development Manager attracted widespread attention and came off the back of an independent review of Adelaide's football department. It also left many fans pondering the makeup of his role. But now that he has settled into a new city and club, we thought best to find out from the man himself.
Jackson kicks, Jackson goes! Tigers get the break they require.
I retired from the Tigers in 2014 at the end of the season. Went and backpacked around Central and South America for 8 months, just trying to be free and catch up with my youth. Lived in North America, worked in the corporate space for a while doing some consulting. Moved to the UK, did a Masters in Performance Psychology and then started working with a bit in corporate and also with youth sport in the Premier League Academy system, talking about resilience and managing stress and developing high performance, and then all those pieces kind of came together a bit to fruition, I suppose, to take this job and bring me back home. After I met with Adam Kelly and Matthew Nix, I just realised that this was going to be an opportunity that wouldn't come up very often, working with some fantastic leaders who had a vision to create a culture and an environment that was, yes, about winning premierships, but also about developing young men, and that's the balance that I'm always focusing on and striving for, so I just wanted to be a part of that journey. I'm very hands-on with the playing group, in particular with the leadership group, really trying to work on that development, with the idea being that if you can get the leaders empowered and give them the autonomy to not to run the club but to really be driving it both on the field and off the field, and both with performance and with just the general environment, we know we're going to be going places. So a lot of the time spent with them, but also with the coaches, because they've got so much a wealth of experience when it comes to leadership and culture, so it's harnessing what they know and their expertise and again filtering it down through the playing groups.
No one who is fortunate enough to play AFL forgets their first game. It's a special moment, and for some, it takes on added significance. Take Rory Atkins, for example. His debut also happened to be the first showdown following the passing of then senior coach Phil Walsh. Thanks to the club's major sponsor Toyota, we're going to look back at what was a thrilling finish against Port Adelaide in 2015.
Need doing the roving, but gives it up. Atkins looked all right, actually. So's this guy, Knight, the two new guys, 3 games between them.
I remember it being very quick, and I remember after the game, lying in bed, like pinching myself, thinking what had just happened. It was a massive day. It was the first game at home since Phil Walsh passed away, and it was a showdown as well, so that was huge. And I came on as a sub, played the second half, and I think Daniel Talley to this day, he got knocked out just before half time, so he got me on the field a bit quicker.
Still the kick got away for a goal. That is enormous. Here's Eddie Betts. He loves it here. He'd love one in the showdown, and he does it.
The emotion of the whole state, really, in both teams. Phil's a great man and had a lot to do with both clubs, so you could just sense the emotion in the stadium, and then also me having to watch the first half pretty well and knowing that I can come on at any stage was a weird circumstance as well. So I just remember that feeling when the siren went. There hasn't been too many feelings after a siren like that before, I reckon.
In the closest match in the history of the two clubs, Adelaide win by 3 points. They're in the 8.
My dad usually makes sure he's at the bottom of the race when we come in, and seeing him and Mum giving them both a big hug, there's some pretty good photos getting around, and I've got them here, so a huge joy on our faces seeing them after the game, after something you work so hard to achieve, and see them after the game was unreal. And I got to experience it with Rolly Knott as well, so in the middle of the huddle, and we're both going nuts, and saw all the other boys in the huddle because they could see how much that game meant to all of us.
Coming up after the break, we find out how Adelaide's new look leadership group is dealing with the coronavirus shutdown.
Welcome back. I'm Alana Smith. Well, the days of forwards kicking big bags of goals are few and far between, but it's a feat that put Adelaide's Tom Lynch among football royalty 7 years ago. The Crows travelled to Sydney to take on the GWS Giants, and Lynch stood tall in the absence of injured star goal kicker Taylor Walker. With the help of Bendigo Bank, we have reached into the Crows Show vault to relive the efforts of 10-goal Tom.
Strikes it beautifully, and again puts GWS on the ropes.
Yeah, it was my second year, and I was obviously looking to break into the team, and unfortunately Tex had gone down a couple of weeks prior, so I was just pleased to get my turn, but it was obviously an interesting one. I hadn't played much footy up until that stage, and I caught a bit of flack for probably being the worst player ever to kick 10, so it was a lot of luck went into it, and I'm not going to sit here and say I played that good of a game or anything like that. The boys were fantastic, and I was just lucky enough to find some ball inside 50.
I tell you what, there's a lot in Tom Lynch's game this afternoon. He's got 4.
My favourite probably was when Pat took a huge pack mark and big screamer, Paddy Dangerfield that was, and I was standing in the goal square, so he had to give the handball, and it was funny in the end. He ended up taking the 3 Brownlow votes home, so that probably proves that it was a real team performance. Half the boys didn't even know I was out there for a stage of the game. I think when I kicked my 8th, Truck was on the bench, and he couldn't even believe it himself. He didn't think I had 8 kicks, so it was obviously weird. But when the game was over, it started to become a bit more surreal.
Tom Lynch, this is your life.
When I was actually on, I think, at 9 goals, Richie Douglas came up to me at 3/4 time because I shot him the siren and told me not to choke. So I certainly did that. And then in the last quarter, I certainly had the goal goggles on and wasn't looking for too many Crows jumpers.
Lynch free.
Okay, will he load up for 10? A sidestep, a dance, runs inside 50. This is it for number 10. Only in your wildest dreams, Tom Lynch.
It was funny how it played out. Obviously, it was fun. You can talk about it now, but it was certainly due to my teammates' performance.
Well, Lynchy actually outscored the entire GWS team off his own boot that day. Quite a feat. Well, the coronavirus forced an abrupt end to the AFLW season, with the grand final scrapped and coaches, players and fans left disappointed. The Crows had already been knocked out of the finals running, and since then, senior coach Matthew Clarke has spent many hours plotting a rise back up the ladder.
They had a game plan, they stuck to it, and the Blues have caused a boil over.
For us, it was really disappointing, to be honest. We performed below our expectations. Obviously, we had some injuries, and there's always reasons, but ultimately, I believed we had enough talent on the park to do better than we did, and so we walk away pretty dissatisfied. But I know that has spurred the players in particular into action in terms of getting themselves ready. Even though it's a long way away, they're already thinking about season 5, so we're looking forward to that.
They've given it off to Madison Newman. No. Yes. Madison Newman.
The good news out of it was that we got great experience into our first few players. Everyone played. Caitlin Gould, Montana McKinnon as young rucks, as 18 and 19-year-olds were able to come in and play at the level, which was exciting. Chelsea Bedell played majority of the games. Nicole Campbell, Najwa Allen played pretty much all of the games. So we had just this opportunity to get experience into players. Matty Newman was got some game time. Jamie Tabb got game time, which if without the injuries, possibly that wouldn't have happened. Our young leaders are starting to stand up, and we've got great experience into some of those kids, which is invaluable.
Eloise Jones adds the exclamation mark.
Well, these are tough times for any athlete, let alone one who has taken on greater responsibility for the first time. Brodie Smith is now part of Adelaide's New Look player leadership group, and he finds himself amidst the most challenging of circumstances, trying to drive standards and inspire teammates during the competition shutdown.
It's been really good. Dan Jackson's come on board and been awesome. We catch up once a week on Zoom as a group, and he's just running us through a few development things, which has been really good. You know, guys like myself, Tommy Duday and Matty Crouch, all relatively new to the leadership role. So for us to be able to do this development stuff and know that when we get back to the club, we're going to be in a really good position to lead the boys throughout the rest of the year and hopefully years to come. As leaders, we've been trying really hard to make sure everyone's doing okay as well. It's hard with guys interstate and in different situations, limited gym gear, limited experience, all that sort of thing. So trying to manage guys and make sure everyone's okay at the same time as trying to do your own work has definitely been challenging. But I think the mental challenge of the unknown, we haven't known a lot of information through this period. It's starting to come out now, the possibilities of coming back, but we didn't know when we'd come back to training, how long we'd be in isolation. And all those little and training in twos, as I said, is pretty difficult. We'd love to be able to train, in groups of 5 and 10 and do certain footy drills. Yeah, so me and Hardo signed up to a leadership and management course, so a bit of an online course there to keep busy, and just some stuff around the house. I've got the lawn has become my pride and joy in the isolation period, so and me and Izzy got a little puppy, so little Duke, little Kelpie's keeping us very busy. He's an absolute maniac, so that's definitely keeping us on our toes.
Well, from one leader to another. After the break, Chelsea Randall reflects on an historic moment for the Crows.
There definitely was a different level of nerves that first game of AFLW.
Football's imminent return prompted the Crows to call their interstate-based players back to Adelaide in a hurry. Those 17 players have now been locked away in their homes throughout the suburbs for the best part of a week, serving the mandatory 14-day quarantine period. Thanks to Flight Centre, let's find out how they are spending their time.
Hey guys, just thought I should probably share what just happened. Was just walking at North Adelaide and there was an older gentleman, probably 70 years of age, seemed like a really nice guy, but he was offering kisses on the lips in exchange, and he'd give you a free Border Collie puppy. So the puppies were really, really cute, but obviously with one, it's pretty weird, and two, with coronavirus and stuff, it's probably not a good idea. So speaking of coronavirus, always good to wear some gloves. That always keeps you safe.
Gee, I'd do anything. Play with the big fella.
And get these. Look at the run.
Kick him through the big sticks.
We are determined to bring you as much Crows news as we can in coming weeks while we wait for games to start. More so than ever, it'll be important to keep an eye on the club's website, afc.com.au, where you'll find plenty of exclusive stories. Make sure you also check out the social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, plus keep an eye on @The Crows Show on Twitter as well. Adelaide's women's team have achieved unrivalled success in the competition's short history, and the players have enjoyed incredible support from the South Australian public. It's been that way since day one, when the fans filled Thebarton Oval to watch the dawn of a new era in professional women's sport, as Chelsea Randall explains.
Well, when I think back on the year 2017, our first year in the AFLW competition, it's amazing how far we've come already, and it's only been 4 years.
And 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
There definitely was a different level of nerves that first game of AFLW. Playing GWS at Thebarton Oval, we didn't know whether 10 people were going to turn up or 10,000, and it started to rain, and lucky for us, 10,000 people turned up to find out what this AFLW was all about.
She fires off that handball to Gibson, who's got speed to burn for right on 50. She nails it. It's a very tough start for the Crows.
Not
punched underneath it.
Oh,
This was Thompson.
that's brilliant.
I guess a weight of relief off my shoulders, because I just wanted to make sure that people enjoyed AFLW. I wanted them to like us, and I wanted to make a really good impression so that young female footballers coming through the ranks had a future in this competition, and it was here to stay. I think after the game, I remember just seeing the supporters in the crowd and kind of calling you over, and they already knew your name by the end of the game, and that was just really, I guess, surreal, because people, in a town or in a city that I'd only spent a few months in, screaming your name over the fence, wanting an autograph or a photo.
And a slice of history for the Adelaide Crows. A win at home to open their campaign.
For us, winning that first game against GWS, that was great. However, I think round 2 we played against Western Bulldogs, a Victorian team, and it was kind of like, here we go, this is going to test us. I remember Jenna McCormack's kick from one of the pockets and just snapped it through for a goal.
Stayed in. Stays in. McCormack. Oh, what a goal by McCormack!
That was a moment for me that I just went, this group is pretty special, and I think we can achieve a lot more than what we think we can right now.
Crows win! The Adelaide Crows are the first AFLW premiers, and the admiration of a nation indeed.
Coming up, the fans have questions and the coach gives answers. Matthew Nix joins us after the break. Technology is playing a crucial role in keeping all of us connected during the coronavirus pandemic, and especially everyone in the Crows family. Fans have no choice but to rely on social media to voice their support or get their messages across, and the club's valued partner Optus is helping us highlight some of the best efforts.
It seems even man's best friend is missing football. This pooch, named Chewy, has been loyally watching match replays with his owner Reagan, whilst 2-year-old Ashton has swapped nursery rhymes for the Crows club song.
When the parents play with the mighty and
We've just heard the opinions of the club's members. Now it's time to take their questions. Thanks to Thomas Farms, senior coach Matthew Nix is sorting through his messages and answering queries of all kinds. Today, David wants to drill down on player comments over the pre-season about how great the atmosphere was at the club, and does it come down to the types of personalities around the place. Secondly, he wants to know how the introverts or quieter types are encouraged to have a voice.
We've been doing a lot of work on, I guess, our culture and what we value as far as a football organisation, and our players have been second to none in that area. They've been outstanding with the work they're doing at working on psych safety, working on filling each other's buckets, and what that does by looking after each other is make everyone feel a part of the team. And we do have quieter players in our group. We've got louder players in our group, but what we do is make it an even playing field. We make sure everyone's got a voice, and that no question and no answer is wrong. We're always working through how to get better as a group.
Well, that just about wraps up another episode of the Optus Crows Show. A quick reminder to check out afc.com.au for all your latest club news. There's also the social media accounts Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Well, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of Mother's Day, and we'll see you again on 7 next week. It's bye for now.